I'm Rachel.
I'm Sherry.
I'm Kim. We're the Spooky Hoochies.
And this is Soul Sessions.
We are a trio of soul sisters who get together every weekend over the phone to discuss our favorite paranormal cases.
And give you, the listener, the opportunity to eavesdrop on that conversation.
And spend the night with the Spooky Hoochies. Some hauntings are just stories. Some are legends. But this one was documented. Witnesses, police reports, investigators who swore they'd never return. In Gary, Indiana, a small house gained a reputation unlike any other. Children thrown against walls, shadows crawling across ceilings, voices that spoke from empty rooms. They called it Demon House. And not even priests, police officers, or hardened skeptics could walk away unchanged. Tonight, we revisit the case that terrified a community and shook the world of paranormal. What happened inside those walls was more than just a haunting. It really was an infestation. This is the story of Demon House.
Okay, so first things first, this is a whole new ballgame for us because we've been focused on the Warrens last 3 weeks, so this is interesting. I still haven't watched anything like I saw the Demon House years ago, but I didn't watch the one that was out on Netflix.
I rewatched it again today too. In fact,
There's one on Netflix?
Yeah, it's called The Deliverance.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even know that.
It's an actual movie, like all the Conjuring ones are, kind of thing. But
So I actually just started looking up, digging into the case and stuff last night and today, and just because I had that foundation with watching the Demon House already. But once we get to it, I did end up printing off the report, the intake report, so I could read.
I just gotta say, to me, that was some crazy stuff. I've never seen where people admit to that in a police report.
Yeah. Well, there's some stuff that's in there that I think needs to be taken a deeper look at, like examined, like the details of the walking, et cetera, et cetera. So most of the people I think that know anything about the Demon House know that it is now not standing anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I
It was
wanted,
tore down in 2016?
Yes.
yeah,
This one
16 or
here?
17.
16.
I wanted to drive out there, but for all the joyriding I do, an 8-hour day is a long one. So
Right.
it's too far away for me just to do a joyride over there. But maybe that's something that we could do in the future on a road trip or something.
Yeah,
So, did you write one for this one, Rachel?
I did.
All
You want me
right.
to read it?
Yeah, did you, real quick.
Real
I'm going
quick.
to have to call him by his name since we're going to put this one,
I
as a topic.
know.
But did you see my little meeting minute?
Yeah.
Well,
I did.
I cracked myself up. Okay, go ahead, read it.
All right. Evil can hide anywhere and attack anyone at any time. This is something LaToya Ammons and her family discovered when they moved into the rental home in Gary, Indiana. The family endured months of torment, even with several witnesses. The community didn't believe that the events that took place. The activity in their house nearly destroyed the family. LaToya Ammons moved into 3860 Carolina Street with her 3 children and her mother, Rosa Campbell, in November of 2011. Within days of moving in, there was activity. Despite the chilly temperatures, there were hordes of black flies in their screened-in porch. They began to hear footsteps that seemed to have no source. Rosa woke up to a shadowy figure pacing in the living room. She then found wet footprints in the very area she saw the figure. 4 months after moving in, on March 10th, 2012, LaToya's 12-year-old daughter was found levitating above her bed. The children began speaking in low voices, saying things like, "It's time to die, and I'll kill you." Their eyes would bulge and mouths curl up into unnatural smiles. The youngest son spoke to a boy which no one else could see. LaToya's daughter heard voices telling her death was near and she would never see her family again. All of the events resulted in the children missing a lot of school and causing doctors and police to get involved. On April 19th, 2012, Latoya took her children to their family doctor. He witnessed the children's low voices and disturbing statements. He said he felt scared when he walked in the room. Staff witnessed the youngest son fly into the air and against the wall without anyone touching him. He was also reported to have walked up the wall and flip over his grandmother. This was observed by nurses and a DCS caseworker, who ran out of the room when it happened. The children were ultimately removed from the home. Police were asked to walk through the home. During their time in the house, officers experienced radio malfunctions, saw a white smoky apparition, and recorded a voice saying, "Hey." On a subsequent visit, they saw a strange oily substance dripping from the blinds. Michael Maginot, a local priest, decided to investigate. He performed a small exorcism in front of the police and a DCS case manager. A total of 3 exorcisms were performed. After the third, and the burning of a piece of paper with the demon's name, things began to feel normal. A short time later, the family moved back to Indianapolis. Latoya regained custody of the children in November of 2012. The house was later purchased by paranormal investigator Zach Bagans, who demolished it in 2016. Did the Ammons family experience a demonic attack, or was it all an elaborate hoax? You decide.
So, one of the things that I've seen overwhelmingly is that this is a lot of people are calling it bonafide because there's, official record of it, of stuff. But as I normally do, I have pulled a lot of questions that I just can't run from. I'm going through this report. We pulled this from the TMZ.
Right.
I wanted to compare this to what an actual DCS report from the state of Indiana looks like. And unfortunately, since DCS cases are all private, you don't have access to this. Like, I can't even find like an example image.
Right.
So, not to say that the record isn't real, because ultimately it looks real enough. There's a lot of stuff that's redacted.
It's mostly names, though.
Yeah. The Indiana Department of Children's Services received a report stating the following information from a report source.
Which is probably the caseworker that was present.
I don't know. Let me see. Let me go back this other page and see if it's sad.
I don't know. My take on it is that as much as I have disdain for the man, Agans did a pretty good job of interviewing people involved, and there were police officers that refused to set foot in the house.
Well, I think he was able to do that because was that set on by Travel Channel, or did he take care of that himself?
He did it himself.
So when you have a longer run time, you're not Travel Channel is not telling you how long you've got for an episode, and you can pretty much cover it as in depth as you want. He had a lot of time to look at it. Whack Bagans is always going to be Whack Bagans, but
No, but I'm saying, as far as my thoughts on it being legit, like I feel like something was in that house.
well, I don't disagree with you for a change. I wish it told me where the report source was from. It just says RS, which is interesting because RS isn't report source, because they got an anonymous call to DCS for abuse, neglect, and a fear that the mom had mental illness.
I think that came from some sort of doctor initially, because she swore up and down there was something wrong with them. And I think it wasn't until that visit where he displayed the actions in front of, the doctors were looking at her like she's crazy because she's telling people that there's demons in her house.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read on in there, it talks about how she's of sound mind.
So I'm just kind of skimming through this report real quick because you've already mentioned all this stuff. I'm just trying to get more detailed report. Sherry, we saying anything that's sticking out at you?
I'm just listening, but my issue is, okay, so the children were removed. If Why would they have still been removed if DCS had actually witnessed things like that? I'm just saying.
For their safety.
For their safety out of the home.
And that's ultimately
But
what this report says, and it's weird.
It doesn't
some
say
of those
anything
things, like,
about the mother being a problem. It just basically says that for their safety, they were removed from the home.
And they did it without a court order.
Yeah.
Which means, to me, I don't have any to do with CPS or DCS or any agency like that, but I would think that without a court order, you'd have to shoot me dead before you remove my
like,
children.
that's like straight up illegal. But I mean, I've read in several places the whole the mother having mental illnesses and them being severely delinquent in rent and all of this kind of stuff. So,
Well, but that's what I was going to say. I wonder if she didn't willingly allow them. And let me, again, from lone life experiences, I invited DHR into my home to help me with Riley. And there were times where he was placed that I signed paperwork. I retained custody.
Do you want me to edit this out?
I don't care. I
Okay.
retained custody, but I signed paperwork so that he was going into their care. So the reason I say that is because I wonder if her being as low income as she was, she had no ability to just go get another place. If she didn't, for the love of her children, give them up to DCS in order for them to be safe,
And from
to
what I
get them out of the home.
understand, that was her rebuttal when somebody brought that up to her. But there was another thing that, let me find my handwritten notes, okay. So now we only have the 9 pages of the TMZ document, right? That TMZ had.
Mhm.
But the main people, I want to point out a few things, because the main people who are validating this story, Captain Charles Austin,
Mhm.
said he didn't necessarily believe in demons, but he did believe in ghosts and angels and that kind of thing, and until he walked into this house, and now he's a believer. And then the Valerie Washington, which was the caseworker for DCS, and then Walker, I don't remember the first name, but Walker was a nurse at the hospital, was a witness along with Washington of the young boy walking on the walls and the ceiling. And more specifically, because that to me, the rebuttal on that one from naysayers was that grandma, which is Campbell, I don't know her first name,
Rosa.
Rosa Campbell, was hanging on to him, and he could have been gripping her and, using her as a balance and all this other stuff. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that could absolutely just be a kid acting like an asshole. But Walker stated that it was more like gliding, and he was only holding Campbell's hands. She wasn't holding on to him, he was holding on to her.
Right.
That was the statement from Walker, the other witness that was
Well,
in there.
even and see, especially with that statement, I mean, in reality, even if a kid did that, it would not be, it would be a struggled effort to do that, and it look deceiving enough for people to say that he climbed the wall. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I mean, it just, that to me, I mean, think about it. Even the most agile child can't even hardly do a damn handstand, let alone climb the wall,
Right.
you know?
But if you're talking about an event with a child that has, let's say, what's one of the really physically violent ones? ODD, maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
You get a little lanky kid that's limber and,
Okay, well, I can tell you this, and again, you don't have to edit this out. Mine had ODD, and while he had super strength at times and things like that, never did he even do something remotely like that. To me, that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, I understand where
Okay.
that could be.
And I understand that, and I would give it that too, because not every I don't know any kid that would just go directly to the whole possession behavior, even with ODD or any other kind of behavior
Oh,
disorder.
trust me, there were times I thought he was possessed, but
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But here's my thing. They have this statement that they've said that they've interviewed Ammons, they've cleared her, she's of sound mind. She is kind of super religious, but she doesn't have any mental illness or psychological issues. And I think that along with the statements about the hospital, walking on the hospital walls is what's giving this case so much validation without anyone actually capturing evidence. And I say that as like, video or audio. And the only people who have corroborated this story are quote unquote believers in the paranormal, whether they believed in demons or not, they believed in the paranormal. And while,
Here's the question.
what?
Were they believers before they witnessed it or after they witnessed it? Because, I mean, you can take a person that is completely and totally against every freaking thing, and if you can show them cold, hard, stone proof.
Well, according to these things that I've read, I've got all my websites saved. I can send them to you if you want. Um, these people were the one captain was known as believing in the paranormal and ghosts and angels and stuff like that. His sergeant or his commanding officer actually made the comment about it. And the other ones readily admitted that, while they do have some sort of belief in the paranormal, they were not prepared for what they encountered in this house. Okay, so there's some validity there. But the people who have been naysayers through the whole thing have stuck to being naysayers. And they swear up and down that this Ammons woman is just, really making an influence on her children. However, I have a different take on that.
I was about to bring up something. So, I mean, Campbell, the grandmother, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I love it that you and I are always on the same page. It makes me giddy, girlfriend.
So, like,
I'm
I
just gonna let
honestly
you
think
spill it. I already know we're on the same page.
I'm surprised Rachel hasn't said anything.
about
Campbell,
what about her?
well, I mean, she wasn't messed with because she was born of angels and she was protected.
So how is she
Yeah.
born of angels and her daughter's not, and her grandchildren aren't? Like, what is that?
Mm-hmm. I don't know how to even respond to that one.
Right. So maybe Ammons isn't the one who's compromised. Maybe she's been influenced by the one who's doing the compromising.
Right.
True. Well, the exorcisms that were done on her,
On who?
on Emmett, on Latoya.
Right. But that's my point. Nothing was ever
Exactly.
done with Campbell. DCS never asked her questions, never had her examined by a psychiatrist, never had the questions of sound mind, any of that. They know that she was a bit of a religious woman and that she was like Sherry said, quote unquote protected essentially by birthright.
Mm-hmm.
According to her,
Yes.
Yes.
that's a little out there.
Exactly. Like, okay. So that just made me, I don't know.
That's why I wondered if there was ever a case against them for anything else. And I almost wished we had a little bit more time to go over it because I wanted to dig a little deeper and see, if there was a case somewhere else on her. Because,
Well, I don't know how true to life. I mean, the movie is really exaggerated in how the activity happened, but I don't know how true to it is. But in the movie, she's got a caseworker prior to stuff happening
yeah,
because of
her
the
kids
kids
never
weren't
went
going
to
to
school.
school.
Yeah. Her kids never went to school, and that was an issue. And they had a problem with paying their bills or something like that. So I'm going to go out on a limb. Well, I would. I would go out on a limb if I was going to dig anymore. And I would dig through some public records for sure. Because I feel like maybe there was probably maybe an eviction case against him or something. Or how old were the children?
They were 7, 9, and 12.
7, 9, and 12. If if she wasn't sending her kids to school, why wasn't she sending them to school before? I I can't make sense of why she's done the things she's done, other than that she really believes that she was possessed, her kids were possessed, and things were just really fucking bad, you know? But I really think that Rosa is something to look at. I wonder if she's still alive.
Who?
Rosa.
That I don't know.
Okay, so I just found this quote, or this thing on USA Today or whatever. It says Campbell said the demons didn't affect her because she was born with protection from evil. She said she and others like her have a guardian who protects them.
What does that mean? I saw that same quote.
And I've seen
Others like
another
her.
where she said that she was born of angels, so she had angel protection or something like that. And I was like, what?
What
Excuse
does
me,
that
Miss
even
Ma'am.
mean? Watch this shit. I'm gonna Google. What does it mean to be born of angels? You think I'm joking?
I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know what to think about the fact that she was never affected.
I think there's something to that. She's just super religious. Ultimately, that's what that shit means.
Exactly.
Being a transformed human who has achieved a status like the angels in the afterlife. But then, my notes also said that they had 2 clairvoyants. They didn't,
Say that there was 200 demons in the house.
yeah, but they didn't specify who the clairvoyants were. Did you happen to find out?
No, I haven't. Even Bagans just said that it was 2 clairvoyants.
2 clairvoyants.
So, you ready to add to the mystery?
Oh, is this your bombshell?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Give me the bombshell. I want to hear it.
So the youngest son, who was the most affected, his name was Armani. He died in October of 2021 at the age of 17 of an asthma attack in his mother's arms while she prayed over him. And there is no other than saying it was asthma. I found a video of a live stream that his half brother, I guess, on his dad's side, did, and he talked about it, and actually said that he never wanted the movie to be made, and that he was walking home from work and had lost his inhaler and could never catch his breath. But my question is, that just tells you, how super religious they are. Why didn't you call an ambulance rather than pray over your son?
Right. What
But I
kind
find
of
it ironic.
what kind of religion?
I have no idea.
Jehovah's Witness, maybe?
Quite possible.
I mean, but if medical intervention, would he even mess with an inhaler?
Probably not.
Hmm.
I'm trying to find out.
That is terrible.
Wait, no. Okay, so you can't say Jehovah's Witness because then they would have never even went to the hospital for.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, it's Indiana.
Now, wait a minute. We say that Campbell was not affected, but if you remember what I read, she wasn't possessed, but she saw a figure and then found wet footprints.
Going back to your previous arguments for manifestation,
What do you mean?
I feel like maybe she had some sort of way of carrying it with her. But it's not always the house. In case of legit hauntings, more often than not, it's gonna be the people.
Right.
And I feel like that is the case with Campbell, but more so as, I don't know, like you're so fearful you manifest your fear. You know what I mean?
So you're saying because of her super religious
Yeah.
beliefs she actually manifested.
Yeah, I don't know how I couldn't articulate that bullshit, but yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, wouldn't that make the most sense? And
Yeah,
you have your own child, which you can manipulate because she's your child, who then goes on to have children, and you're in the home, and while she doesn't necessarily go out of her way to manipulate her children, she's in that pattern with her own mother already
right,
doing that. You know, you have generational living, you have generational scars.
right. Well, it would make sense if it started with the mother, because that would say that's why she wasn't affected.
Yeah. That's an interesting statement for her to make, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly what she means by that, but to me, I interpret it as they no longer believe that it was demons. So did somebody get diagnosed with some kind of mental illness? I mean, everything in the obituary, of course, an obituary is going to be
Okay,
deep
well
stuff anyway.
there's something. Sorry, I didn't mean to like yell in your ear. That was rude of me. You said Rosa or Rosie?
Rosa.
Rosa Campbell. Came up rosacea. No, dude. Um,
There was nothing in his obituary that said that she was one of the surviving relatives, but they didn't have anything in there about proceeded in death. So,
the reason I brought that up is because they no longer believe that. One, was there a diagnosis of some kind of mental health, which is kind of the way we were leaning, right?
yeah.
Except that it's not. I really think she's got something to do with it. Either she's manifesting the haunt or she's.
Now, I can tell you that I was just reading an article that stated, or a thread, I shouldn't say an article, a thread that stated that something about Latoya's ex-boyfriend, who I guess was married, and the wife called her up and said that she would regret ever being with her husband, and that the priest, every time she tried to talk to Latoya, he tried to talk to Latoya about her ex-boyfriend, the activity would ramp up. So they're saying some kind of hoodoo, voodoo, whatever.
Where'd you find that?
I don't even know. It was like a Reddit thread or something.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't understand why she would think that she has this invulnerability to it. Because ultimately, you know, she didn't incur the same kind of stuff that Latoya claims she was going through and her children was going through, but that doesn't that doesn't really mean anything. Like she bore witness to it just like the DCS worker did, just like the nurse did, just like the officer did. Like that just makes her a bystander.
Right.
So
Uh,
I think grandma's fishy on this one. I'm not calling it bullshit, not by any means. I think this one has a very high dose of healthy skepticism. However, I also want to point out that there is nothing here concrete. Every single thing, as is every good haunt, is hearsay. And I'm okay with that. I'm waiting for the day that somebody comes up with some sort of evidence that real scientists go, huh? Let's look at that.
So I found this thing. It says during a psychiatric evaluation of Amon's two sons, the doctor wrote, "This appears to be an unfortunate and sad case of a child who has been induced into a delusional system perpetrated by his mother and potentially reinforced." The doctor evaluating Amon's daughter concluded there also appears to be a need to assess the extent to which, and then it says Amon's daughter, may have been unduly influenced by her mother's concerns that the family has been exposed to paranormal experiences. And then it goes on to say the former owner of the demon house claimed that no previous tenant ever reported demonic activity in the home, and neither did the tenant after Amon's.
Boom.
well, but that goes back to it's the family and not the house. But again, if you believe Bagans, I mean, it affected him and everybody that was in that house with him. So
Right.
But he was willing.
this is true. He's always willing.
Whack Bacon is the only one in the paranormal community that I've seen that really outwardly provokes in the worst possible way.
And then freaks out.
Yes, like a. Never mind. I'll be nice.
That's it.
It does
Anywho.
say the family never returned to the demon house after moving out. Now that it has been torn down, it's unclear where the spirits went.
Huh.
Well, if I had to take a wager, I would guess Grandma took them with her.
Yeah.
Because majorly religious or not, I mean, I think on this kind of a level, I would go with spiritual versus religious. I would call religion in this case just what was accessible. It's what they knew. You know, you reach out to God, you reach out through the Bible and the crucifix and whatever else, you know.
And
Right.
by the way, in that obituary, it shows that he was was a former member of the New Life Worship Center. So then when you Google that, it is a Church of Nazarene, which is an evangelical,
Evangelical.
yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
evangelical Christian, right?
Yes, which is also, I mean, it's pretty much a wholeness church. So, yeah, interesting.
I like that though. Because okay, so this is interesting. I didn't think the diocese would grant an exorcism if they weren't Catholic.
It just depends on the circumstances, I guess.
I mean, I guess, I don't know.
I thought, I don't know, I've never been open to a possession, but I thought you had to be like Catholic to get the exorcism granted through the Catholic Church. Now, I know that there's a local pastor here that is not Catholic. He is of the Baptist faith, and
And
he
does exorcisms?
and has done an exorcism before, just
Holy
one.
cow. That's crazy, but that's still crazy.
It says the following are able to receive this specialized blessing if determined necessary. It's Catholics, non-Catholic Christians who request it, non-Christian believers, provided that they have the proper disposition, meaning they are sincere about the desire to be free of the demonic influence.
Well, how can you do that if you have a demonic influence?
I don't know.
How do you determine it's demonic if you don't have any foundational belief in good and
That's
evil?
crazy.
You know? And that's partly what I mean. Like, you have to be open and willing to be possessed, I think. Excuse me. But I
You
also
have,
think that you kind of open yourself up to that anytime, like when we go investigate or something. Because, I mean, if you want to communicate with something that's paranormal, whatever it is, you are offering that line of communication.
right.
So on some level, you have to be accepting. So, Sherry, what's your final take on it?
I think somehow, some way, I believe, a person's perception of what's happening is real to them, whether it's visibly real or it's not. And I believe Grandma had a lot to do with a lot of people's perceptions, whether it's like what you said, manifesting herself or.
Right.
I love the validity in this one. I mean, there's still holes. You can punch 1,000 holes in it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you have professionals stating publicly, risking careers.
Exactly.
There is some sketchy stuff going on, but it's enough to say, holy shit.
Yeah. I
Especially
definitely think that
the
there's some.
gliding thing. The gliding thing did
Right.
it for me. There was a time you'd get Ben going and he would parkour off the walls and the couch, and
Right.
it was a thing. But to glide, and if that's the claim, and two people saw that, then hell yeah.
Yep. That's mine. I'm the validity in this one is definitely, which sucks that they got who they got to tell their story, because that kills a lot of their validity. I have to. I need to back up. They didn't get him to do it because he actually tried to interview them and they refused.
Yeah, I do remember that because they said they don't talk about the house.
No, they wouldn't have anything to do with him because he'd been in the house already.
Right.
And
That's what
then
I'm
her
saying. And they said
brother,
they don't have any.
her brother was they went to their house in Indiana, and her brother came out and talked to them, and then they wouldn't let him back in the house because he'd been around Zach. So
Maybe it's him. Maybe because he passed away.
that's quite possible too, because that statement was made at the end of 24, and he passed in 21.
Maybe that's what it is.
It's quite possible. I mean, he was the one who experienced the most.
And you know what we don't have in this that we've had in the other ones?
What's that?
We haven't had injury. We haven't had drug abuse on any account. Because
Right.
DCS was all up in her urine,
Yep.
you know? So they didn't find grandma as a threat. They found the house as a threat.
Right.
Even though it was clean, it was stocked with food. There was some weird shit in a shrine in the basement, but beyond that, they were well cared for, but they were somehow being endangered or neglected.
So the reporting source was somebody from the doctor's office or the hospital for the children looking at this report.
Okay.
Which makes sense because they're mandated reporters.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And again, you walk in and tell somebody there's demons in my house. What are they going to think?
Right.
You know, that
Psych
there's
you out,
mental issues.
for sure.
Yeah. But I think that this one is probably more likely than not to be legit than our past cases.
Right.
I agree. Even with the other opinion from the doctor that or the psychiatrist in the facility that they sent him to,
Mm-hmm.
she said something of the effect that he only became combative when they wanted him to do something he didn't want to do, or they mentioned, the demon or whatever. Number one, he's in a facility with people he doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
who are medicating him. What did he not want to do? I've seen Fight Club. And I know children have things like ODD, and there is a reasonable answer for all of it, I'm sure.
Right.
But maybe it could also be because he was possessed, and that's also a reasonable answer.
Yeah.
I like this one.
I did too.
Just so we can clarify from last week's episode, you read your script and you referred to him as Stephen. And then we
Yeah.
realized Philip and Stephen was the same person. And they were like, well, where did
Right.
you get your information? And you said that you got it from where?
A book called The Warren Files.
The Warren Files. And what I seem to have put together is that the book you're getting your information from is the book by Ray Garton. He referred to Philip in his book as Stephen.
So it is the same person, just different names.
Yes. So, how do you feel about that now that with that realization, knowing what he has said about writing that book?
Well, obviously there was more dramatization than we realized because to even change the name sounds to me like they were trying to dissociate as much as possible.
Yeah. And the fact that he's been, I mean, not to say that they wouldn't change the name anyway for Hollywood, but it is interesting that the name change, every time you hear the story retold by one author or another, or one made for TV movie or big picture movie from another, the name is always different. And anything that's based on a true story is generally told with the real names. The Smurl case in particular that I
Right.
can think of, and the Perrin case.
Right.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that because it was incorrect. And
Yeah. We need to make sure we from now on verify.
yeah, well, even if we don't get a chance to do it before we put our episode up, we just do a follow up to clarify what
Right.
we learned after the fact. I think that would be good enough.
Right.
Um, okay, cool. What about next week?
I don't know. What do we want to do?
I don't know.
You got any that really want to stick out at you, Sherry? She might have a lot of cars going by.
Yeah, I had a motorcycle going by.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know. You guys said something about you wanted some from Georgia.
So let
So
me go back.
I sent y'all a couple from Dahlonega.
Do you want to go anywhere in particular when we get there, Rachel?
No, it don't matter to me. I'm just in for the getaway, so
Do you want to try to go down to Savannah?
we can.
Maybe we should actually devote 5 minutes to looking at that. Because I don't think either one of us have done it. Is it Dahlonega or Gulonega?
Dahlonega.
Dahlonega. Okay.
That's in northern Georgia.
Okay.
It's up in the mountains.
Yep, the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Then there's Kennesaw House and Marietta. Atlanta, there was a couple places.
Fox Theater.
Heritage Hall, Oakland Cemetery. But Savannah's got a bunch of places, obviously. So we still have a couple weeks before we have to decide, really. But what do you guys want to cover for next week?
I don't know.
Well, we have an interesting take on the Lizzie Borden case. You want to cover that one?
We can do that one. That'll work.
What do you think, Sherry?
I will do whatever y'all tell me to search.
Do you know Rachel's theory on Lizzie Borden?
No.
Okay, you might enjoy this one.
Okay. I'm watching a spider very intently. I'm sorry.
Rachel done would have cussed and got up and went in the house already.
No, me and this spider been watching each other very, very, very intently. I've been trying to keep it cool. It keeps wandering out thinking it's gonna look at me.
I don't know what I did, but I got my calendar wrong.
Well, you can't even spell calendar, so. Or no, that's camping. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, you're right. I'm looking right at it. Oh no, it's right. I'm wrong. Holy shit. What's today? Holy fuck-a-moly.
Yeah,
My god.
next Sunday. I'm counting down the days. Next Saturday for me. All right, well, I need to wrap this up because I'm supposed to go pick somebody up and go to a haunted house.
Okay, well, send me a message of what I'm searching.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
All
Alright,
right.
bye.
If you'd like to add to our conversation, or you have a case you'd like us to cover, leave us a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this video and subscribe.